Historical Society on BCTV is supported in part by the Highlands at Wyomissing.
Hello and welcome to the monthly program of the Historical Society of Berks County. I'm your host, George M. Miser IX, President of the Historical Society of Berks County and publisher of the Historical Review of Berks County, the Society's quarterly magazine published continuously since October of 1935. It should be noted that this program is telecast live on the first Wednesday of each month at 7. It repeats this Friday evening at 10, Saturday at 6, and Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Welcome all to our December 2008 program. Seated beside me is Joshua Blay, Society Museum Curator and Associate Director.
Good evening, George.
Good evening. And beside Joshua is Sime Bertlet, Executive Director of our Historical Society.
Good evening, George.
Good evening.
Our museum, Henry Janssen Library, and museum store are open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Our newly renovated museum store is full to bursting with a large inventory of books, craft items, and toys. We have a wonderful selection of new items just fitting for your holiday shopping needs. We'll be highlighting some of them later in the program, so whether you're a regular customer or a first-time shopper, you'll be hard-pressed to walk out empty-handed. With winter fast approaching, now's the time to remind you of our winter closure procedures. If the Reading schools are closed, so are we. New this year, we're also announcing on FMZ TV 69 and also on their website. And also you can check out the Reading Eagles website as well. When in doubt, please call the Society to make sure we are open. Rule of thumb, if no answers, we're closed. Our holiday schedule is as follows, coming up here at the end of the month. We'll be closing it on the 24th, that's Christmas Eve at 2 p.m., and we'll be closed Friday, Christmas Day, and Saturday, the day after Christmas, which is also Boxing Day. For New Year's, we'll close again New Year's Eve at 2 p.m. and also close New Year's Day, and we'll reopen on Saturday, the 2nd of January, just for the day, which will also be the last day of our war exhibit of January 2010. And we'll also be closing early in January for a staff get-together after the holiday, so please keep an eye on our website, or again, when in doubt, give us a call.
Okay. We remind you that for $40 a year, you can be one of us, a member of the Historical Society of Berks County. Membership in the Society includes our prize-winning quarterly magazine, the Historical Review of Berks County. Membership includes unlimited use of the museum and library. Incidentally, family memberships, those all living in one household, are $50 a year.
And while we're on the subject of memberships, we remind you that Berks Community Television, BCTV, is a survivor and a top venue and unique entity, and that it's interactive. You are encouraged to call in with your question and comments to 610-378-0426.
Why not salute BCTV and all of the great shows it provides to Reading and Berks and send a check for $30 for a year's membership? Mail your check to BCTV, 645 Penn Street, Reading, Pennsylvania, 19601. Remember, time passes, but operating expenses never go away.
And now it gives me great pleasure to say and tell the audience that the new volume of The Passing Scene, Volume 17, is ready for distribution and will be distributed this coming Saturday, December 5th. George will be at the Historical Society on Saturday morning, and our first Saturday program will feature George and his story on how the Passing Scene 17 came together and some of the highlights of that. But I'll give you a few of them right here. It's just in time for the holidays, and among the features that are going to be covered in this coming volume are never seen before photographs of Carsonia Park, the building and the operation of the Neversink Mountain Railroad, the Robisonia furnace history, as well as a lavishly illustrated story on Berks County's famous artist Ben Austrian, whose Perkiomen Avenue log cabin and the chick paintings that he did for the Bon Ami commercials are nationally as well as internationally known. We're also going to feature picture stories about Reading's master accordionist, Anthony Mundy, as well as Roy Schmeck, the internationally celebrated Wizard of Strings, who appeared on in numerous motion pictures as well as on over 400 recordings. You're also going to have information on the mysterious 1,600-foot tunnel that few in Berks County had ever seen, and you'll also see restored photos of the Penn Street stores that so many of fans of the passing scene know about. So it's really going to be a great volume. In addition, we're also going to have pictures that were taken when Harry Truman visited Reading in 1948, and in addition to that, you're going to have photographs on all the towns, or excuse me, many of the towns in all the townships in Berks County. So it's going to be a great time. Makes wonderful holiday gift giving.
And if you're taking notes at home, we've also got wonderful photos and captions dealing with the Alms House in Shillington, accordionist Anthony Monde, artist Ben Austrian, the Bavarian Club on Hill Road in Birdsboro, Carsonia Park, Gibraltar, the Gravity Railroad cars, Griesmersville, Hamburg in 1931, Jacksonwald, Joanna, artist Berthold Imhoff, Kempton, Keystone Brewery, Kutztown celebrity Colonel Pfister, Flowers Park Stadium, Laureldale, Lime Kiln, Mensch Mill, and Mayberry's Furnace, Mauriceeville, the Neversink Mountain Road, its construction and operation.
By the way, let me comment about Colonel Pfister from Kutztown. His claim to fame in Berks County was that he served in the Confederate Army. It's really quite a story, how he was in the military and married a woman from the South, and when the war broke out, he was there with her. And it's really a very interesting story.
What was that welcome home like?
Look away, Dixie Lane.
He became quite a celebrity in the town.
I'm sure.
They forgave and forgot. Also included are photographs of Ole Line, the Ole Moravian Church and its boarding school, the one that was struck by lightning in 1941. The oldest pagoda pictures known, Penn Street stores, Pine Forge, Reading Directory of 1806. That's a fascinating thing. It lists everybody who lived in Reading in 1806. Reading wasn't very big at that time, and it also gives you an idea of where exactly they lived. The Robisonia Furnace, Schwarzwald, Shamrock, Shoemakersville, the Sicking Spring Inn, South Mountain Resort, Spangsville, Spees Church Fire of 1912, Spring Valley and Bernhardt's Hotel, St. Lawrence, Stony Run, Stroudsburg's Old Homes, and its 1893 baseball team. That's a great picture of that baseball team because of the unusual bats that they had. I can't believe how long those bats were.
Really?
Yeah, they were inordinately long. Stroudstown, Temple, Topton, the West Reading Iron Mine, Sightsinger's that was.
Is that where the lake was?
Yes, where the lake was.
What was the name of that lake again?
Sightsinger's Iron Mine.
Wasn't there a name for the lake where the parking garage
Oh,
is?
they had a bunch. Weiser Lake is what it was generally known as. Yeah, at one time the tunnels for that iron mine went as far northward, it's hard to believe, all the way up to what would today be Penn Avenue. The West Reading Drug Store, a good story on that. Weber's Hotel on Pricetown Road. Some of the old-timers will remember when it looked like a Black Forest structure. Wernersville area Gun Barrel Mill. Wummelsdorf, Yellow House to Douglasville Turnpike, that's an interesting story, and much more.
Well, I'd also like to remind the viewers that in addition to the Passing Scene Volume 17, we also have a few volumes of Passing Scene 15 and 16 for sale. Price is $45, tax included, and in addition, we do still have some Passing Scene Volume 13, and those are $35 cash and carry. I remind you that due to the way the printing business is today, it doesn't allow us to do additional print runs. So if you don't have these books, if you somehow you missed them and they're not in your collection, it's highly advisable for you to stop by the Historical Society and pick them up, because once they're gone, there are no more reprints on that. So word of the wise. And also, in recognition that, you know, the economy is a little bit tight right now, we made a concerted effort to hold the price on Passing Scene Volume 17 to $45. So that is including tax, and it remains the same price as it has been for the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, let's show folks just for a minute what the Passing Scene 17 looks like. This was printed by the Reading Eagle Press, and they really did a super job, very largely because of the high quality paper that was used. Can we I don't know which camera can we use to sort of pull in on some of these things.
One in the middle, there, George.
Okay, one in the middle. This will sort of give you an idea of the general quality of the photographs. As you notice, whenever possible, I have to push this book down a little bit. Oh, that works out better. Okay. Whenever possible, I try to use photo insets because what frequently people have asked in years gone by are 4 questions when I show an old-time photograph. Number 1 is it still there? If it is, what is it used for? What is the structure used for today? If it's gone, when was it taken away and what's on the site today? And I always give the exact location of anything that is pictured in the book, down to the virtual footage, so that you always know when you see a picture in the passing scene what it's all about, where it is, as if it's still there. And I like those. I've always liked those photo insets because they do give you a good idea. This is Harry Truman's visit to Penn Square. Those of you with incredibly keen vision will see some of the old-time stores that many of us remember, like Adler's, Lobel's, W.T. Grant, those stores that were on Penn Street between 4th and between 5th and 6th on the south side. Let's see what else. I wanted you to see the quality of the photographs. They really could not be better. I honestly think that of the entire series, the photographs in volume 17 are without a doubt the greatest quality that we've ever produced, because of photo restoration and the high quality paper and the super printing by the Eagle Press. I'm very much impressed. Okay, let's have a few pictures from
Ye old laptop.
From the ye old laptop is right. This is a fascinating picture that has been made available to us by Larry Soltis, latterly of East Reading and now in my section of Exeter Township. The Mount Penn Gravity Railroad, and we see the cars traveling in tandem. They're en route to the Gravity Station. The Gravity Railroad existed from 1889 to the spectacular fire of the tower in 1923, which spelled the end to the Gravity Railroad. This is one of the best pictures I have ever seen of the Gravity cars. On the following page is a close-up. I don't think we have a view of that. On the following page is a close-up of those cars, and the reason I did that was so that you can really see what the cars looked like close up. So a number of times, I think there are 2 photographs in the book, 2 sets of photographs where I'll show you the regular picture and then we get a close-up view because of the value of the photograph itself. Let's go to the next one. Well, we are on Penn Street with Harry Truman, and it was 1948. Actually, I was there at the time. My mother presented at the Outer Station. He came at the Outer Station. A very appropriate gift to a president who enjoyed, I guess, his 2nd term, and that was a container of pretzels. It was October the 7th of 1948. There were a number of us who got off from school to go to see the president. We see W.T. Grant, and McCrory's is to the left of W.C. Grant. I was wondering yesterday, I mentioned to my wife that we bought a freezer that lasted for 60 years at Sears when it was on Penn Street on the south side. That would have been in the 400 block on the south. You don't remember that, do you? When Sears was on Penn Street. It would have been up from Joseph's.
No, I don't.
Then they moved to Lancaster Avenue, and then from Lancaster Avenue they went out.
I remember it on Lancaster Avenue, and then it went to the mall.
Then it went to the mall.
Yeah.
But they had a sizable store on Penn Street in the 400 block on the same side. And I'm seeing Lobel's, Imbers, Adler's, and the famous Woolworth store, which in the book itself you can see rather clearly. Anyhow, this photograph came to us by the courtesy of Anthony Mickey, who was the official photographer, I believe, for the Reading Fire Department. If we may have the next view. Okay, there we are again. There's Harry Truman close up. If you see Bess Truman looking a little troubled, she's actually third from the left. Remember, Bess got very, very old. And hidden sort of behind the microphones is Jack Davis, who was the mayor of the city of Reading. Davis was preceded by J. Henry Stump's third term from 44 to 47, and he was succeeded, of course, by Mayor Bamford, 1952 to 1955. The gentleman on the left, either looking for his glasses or deep in prayer, is Alben Barkley, the Vice President of the United States. And again, we thank Anthony Mickey of Sinking Spring for the use of this photograph.
How long did WEEU have an FM station? I see there's a placard.
Not very long, because and for the same time, during that same, well, a little bit later, of course, WEEU had, let me think, that was channel 33.
My gosh, I didn't even think, really, FM didn't, I didn't think that came out till...
FM was in the 30s.
It was in the 30s,
Yeah.
but they didn't really start coming on in the 60s.
Yeah, not, especially not locally.
That's what, didn't they say that's what saved radio? One of the things?
I'm not sure. It could very possibly be. I'm not really sure about that. I remember my grandfather's old radio had FM, but there weren't too many stations around at that time. Which could, the next
But we
picture,
digress.
please. Yes, we digress.
There he is.
Yes, very, 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 very handsome fella, and that was our Jack Luden. Jack Luden grew up on North 5th Street in Reading. In the 900 block. I think he was something like 916. Was in many films. As a matter of fact, there's a feature on Jack Luden in one of the earlier volumes. Very handsome fella. Didn't get all that old. I think he was about 59 when he passed away. But when he came to Reading in his great big Packard open car, everyone went gaga because he was a dashing figure, and he drove the greatest cars. For the next picture, please. Yes, I was rather pleased with this picture. This is the Never Sink Union Mission. Now, this was prior to my doing a little work. I always say that most of the photographs, or virtually all the photographs in the Passing Scene series, are restored. This was the way I bought this picture on eBay, the Never Sink Union Mission. And it was at 728 Binghamton Street. So when you go up Binghamton Street, it would have been on the right-hand side, on the south side of the street, just beyond the culvert. I bought this on eBay, and it arrived on a Saturday. And I said to my good wife, let's go and get a now picture to use for the book so that people know what the building looks like today. Well, it didn't quite happen, and it was postponed until the following Friday. On 9/24/09, Gloria Jean and I drove to 728 Binghamton to get a now picture to use as an inset. On approach, we found the dust floating around in the air, and as soon as I went beneath the culvert and came out on the other side, I saw 4 men reducing rubble with sledgehammers. The building had just been demolished before we got there. So we missed our now picture perhaps by a couple of hours. So I don't have, I really can't picture that building. I know that over the course of time it was used for a store, and they had some church meetings in there from time to time. What it looked like until very recently, I honestly don't know. Now, this was the picture as I received it. Take a good look at it, and let's go to the next one.
Bible and Holiness meeting every Friday evening.
Yes. That was after some restoration work. Let's go back to the...
Before.
After.
And after.
Why didn't you fix the crack in the sidewalk?
Because it was actually there. I learned my lesson a couple of years ago. I tell the story that one time when I was writing for the Reading Eagle, I had a picture of the Wyomissing Hotel. And across the front porch of the Wyomissing Hotel, very carelessly rendered was Wyomissing Hotel. And I assumed that whoever took the picture used a pen to put Wyomissing Hotel across the roof. So I spent like an hour and a half in the days when you didn't have Photoshop patching up, getting rid of that Wyomissing Hotel sign across the porch roof. That night about 5 o'clock, when the Reading Eagle came out on a Wednesday, about 3:30, about 5 o'clock my phone rang, and here was the daughter of the man who ran the hotel. She said, "Mr. Miser, what happened to the Wyomissing Hotel sign that my dad painted, that my dad and his brother painted across the front of the building?" I said, "Ooh." Well, anyhow, so I'm very careful what I add and take away, because you can never really tell. So, by the way, in 1950, this was St. John's Baptist Church. Neat picture. That lantern above the door is really very fascinating. What it says is Never Sink Union Mission. And on the right-hand side, very clearly in the original picture, you can read that they have services on the Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. and 7:45 p.m., Sunday school at 2 p.m., and Bible and Holiness meetings every Friday evening. So that was a busy place during that time. What amazed me with this picture was that for a mission kind of operation, those people are extremely well dressed. The kids are wearing fine outfits. So it wasn't the kind of mission that some of us would associate with that term. The next picture, please. Here we are in West Reading at Sightsinger's Mine. Now let me see whether I can find that. Well, I don't have to have that. Between about 1878 and 1876, right where you park your car when you go to the Masonic Temple or you attend a program at the Scottish Rite Cathedral, where that parking lot was Sightsinger's iron mine. In 1876, they were doing some digging, and there was a geyser. And within a very short time, they managed to get the mules out, but all the mining gear and the tracks that were down at the bottom, all that was flooded, and the men fled for their lives, and they did get out. That remained a flooded mine hole for a long time, and then when they began to develop that section of Wyomissing/West Reading, they didn't want to call it an old mine hole, so they dubbed it Weiser Lake. And they planted grass all around the outside, around the lake, and they planted some large trees. I think 3 of those large trees survive over there near the Scottish Rite. They sort of skirted Weiser Lake at one time. It reached the point where they wanted to use that land, and they decided that they were going to fill it in. And people in West Reading were duly concerned, because they said, if you start filling that in, where's that water going to go? It'll be forced underground and it'll flood everyone's cellar. Well, when they started with the Reading's renewal program, and they tore down all those buildings that were on Penn Street, particularly between 6th and 8th on the north side, all that rubble came across truck after truck after truck across the Penn Street Viaduct, and they dumped and they dumped and they dumped, and no one had a flooded cellar to the best of my knowledge. Everyone was astonished. What happened to the water? They think that it seeped out underground and somehow fed into the Wyomissing and then into the Schuylkill. They actually don't know what happened to that water. Well, it finally came to the point, and I remember this clearly, where you had a piece of the lake left about the size of an average living room, and they went in there with plastic bags, loads of fish, put them in the plastic bags, and very safely dumped them into the Schuylkill. How long they lasted there, I really don't know. But they did get the fish out of there, and then they finally closed the hole and macadamized over it. So when you park, when you go to the Scottish Rite, or when you go to the Masonic, specifically the Masonic Temple, you park on what had been Sightsinger's iron mine.
Yeah, I remember skating on that.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I remember that pretty well.
There was a drowning in there one time. Some person who had problems attached some weights to themselves, to herself, and the person did drown there. There's an extensive story in one of the older passing scenes, like volume 4 perhaps, on the Sightsinger iron mine.
Wasn't that where the parking garage went as well, or is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually it was...
Parking garage for the hospital.
Yeah, that would be more or less a little bit north of where the actual water was.
Okay.
At one time there was a huge ice house there. There was one picture of that. It was an enormous... Those of you who remember the old ice house, the size of the one in Dalberville, it was very similar to the one that was in West Reading. It was huge.
Huh.
Why don't we take a little break and continue with our discussion.
Okay.
Blue. Well, that's more. Oh, okay.
Blue for you.
Following the closing of our fabulous On the Home Front We Stood United exhibition that illustrates life as it existed in Reading and Berks County during World Wars I and II, at the close of the day on Saturday, January the 2nd, 2010. At that time, work will begin preparing an exciting new exhibit that will feature members' treasures, which will feature one or two items representing some aspect of Reading or Berks history that would be of major interest to the general public. This item or two or maybe even three should clearly have some direct connection to Reading and Berks and be something that visitors to the exhibition probably have never seen before, something of general interest. We did have 2 sessions thus far of show and tell, members coming in, and I believe, what do we have, about 20 or so? Or 20?
We've had about 25, 30 total people come on in so far of some items that are up for inclusion in the exhibit. We might not be able to fit everything in because we've got a finite space to film. We've already got another Discovery Day, and some other people have talked to us before already. They just haven't been able to make it due to some commitments for the holiday season being paramount on their schedules. But I brought along some photos for the laptop. If I can do another quick little slideshow here of some stuff that's already come in that we'd like to share with you.
That's neat.
Yeah.
This is really neat. I love the game Monopoly myself, but there's no go that I can tell. But it does say collect $200 right here, and there is a jail. Go to jail. This is a very early Monopoly board. It's been featured in our magazine before. It's been featured in the Reading Eagle before, but this is privately owned by a gentleman in the area. His family made 3 of these. One was destroyed, the other one was burned, and this is the only surviving one that we know of. This is a very, very early version of Monopoly. There's a very interesting backstory to Monopoly. I don't remember it all, so I won't try to share it with you, but it's a very interesting development of the game. Basically, it turned out to be a lot of simultaneous ideas at the time, and a lot of the early versions were homemade, as you can see here. The next one, is also based on the Monopoly game as well. It's a little later version of what you just saw before. This is one of the earlier commercially produced ones of Monopoly, but these are privately held locally, and they would make a wonderful addition when you consider the Reading Railroad's role in Monopoly. George?
There was a Reading Monopoly.
Yes, there was. It was produced in the 80s.
Yeah, that wasn't that Berks?
It was
There were two that came out. I just happened to think about those. I have those up in the attic.
Right, yeah. I have one. I think I have the
haven't seen
Berks.
them for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was. I almost forgot about that.
Simon knows a little bit more about this than me, but this is from the same private collector that has the 2 Monopoly boards. I have a hard time classifying what this is, but this is some sort of a racing device. As you can see, if you pardon the mouse pointer, you sit on here, of course, and there's a little foot here in the middle. When you rock back, this rocks forward, and it's sort of a racing device at the State Hill.
Well, it was at the State
Hill Hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you were at the State Hill Hotel having a lot of fun, it normally led to that. But yeah, they were at the State Hill, the same place that they used to hold the banjo ball.
You know the dance hall up at the State Hill Hotel was built by Bill Koch's grandfather.
Is that right?
He was a carpenter. He was the fellow who built that.
No joke.
Yeah.
We've been offered some paintings here. This comes from a local collection. This is a Austrian, of course. One lady came in with some wonderful quilts made about the same time as the bicentennial. Might not have the wall space to fit all 3 of them in, but there's a really particularly nicely one here.
Yeah.
That's from Burnville, Pennsylvania, and this features the...
That's the Oppenhauer place.
Yep, the Berkey's farm in Burnville there. Conrad Weiser Homestead in Wobelsdorf. A gentleman came in with some really nice theater.
They used to hand those out in the theater. They were.
Theater.
It was the moviegoer. They were like what 5 by 7, something like that.
I love how they did the font sort of icicle covered when they talk about cool and comfortable in the air-conditioned Embassy Theater.
And that really was well air conditioned.
Oh, yeah.
In those days, that was one of the few places where you could go to escape the heat in the summertime.
We don't know too much about these, but some gentlemen brought in some toy wagons promoting some stores in the area, including Harold Furniture and the Dyes Pomeranian Stewart wagon you see here.
Oh, that's neat.
This is near and dear to George's heart.
Oh, yes.
This is an original condition 1897 Acme Stormer
That's incredible.
bicycle. I'm a big bicycling aficionado myself. What's very interesting to me is, again, if you excuse the mouse pointer, these are cork handlebars. The rear fender here is all wood, as is the chain guard here. The chain guard is all wood, and there's some couple detail shots here. You can clearly see Acme Manufacturing, Stormer, Reading, Pennsylvania.
What's the date on that?
1897.
1897. So they were still using were they still using high wheelers at that time?
they were falling out of favor by that.
I can see why.
The head over heels thing.
Yeah.
In one of the passing scenes, there is an Acme Stormer catalog from about that same period.
This gentleman has some catalogs and some trade cards, too, from Acme. There's a wonderful collection that came in from a gentleman who's been collecting currency for most of his life. Number of paper bills in wonderful, excellent shape.
That National Union Bank was 1761. That was the oldest building in the city of Reading at the time that it was destroyed.
Locally produced painting by Papa Horning. I'm not too familiar with the artist
Papa
myself.
Horning. Oh, yes. 625 down in the close to Nowers, before you get to Nowers. He was on the left-hand side. Oh, yes.
An Isaac Kime jug.
Huh.
And the next one is one of the favorites so far.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
That's good.
See if you can take a couple seconds and figure out what this is. I'll tell you what happens here, because it's hard to get a handle on it. There's a string here that would have been attached from the nail up to here.
Now, don't give them away too much.
And these are solid wooden blocks. The whole thing's maybe about 18 to 24 inches wide.
That isn't the churned butter, is it?
Not quite.
Okay.
This is a mousetrap. The large wooden block here would be suspended all the way to the top here, and I still don't know what incentive there is for a mouse to climb over this and get the piece of cheese, but so be it. There was a little string that would be attached from here up to here and then down to here. When the mouse would jump in there to get the cheese, down comes the block. That's we've never quite seen a mousetrap like that before.
That's great.
We have a couple of advertising pieces. We have actually had a fair amount of pieces come in from local businesses. Joseph O. Flatten Company in Reading, manufacturers of brushes. Neversink Mountain Hotel picture.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Beautiful souvenir piece from the Neversink Mountain Road as a sidebar to the Passing Scene 17 article. We had a wonderful article. We'd like to thank the Eagle for coming in this past Saturday. We had a good article in the Sunday morning paper this past Sunday of the Swope family artifacts. This is actually quite a small brass tag, but my camera did pretty well. I've taken this close-up shot here. But if you look at in the second page, it's from Swope. They had a Swope's General Store up in Myerstown.
And that was after, it was Myerstown RD1. That was actually at Fryestown.
Okay.
They had closed the post office, so that was a Myerstown rural delivery.
A couple more items from the Swope store. He was also a justice of the peace. This is a, one of the family members was the justice of the peace. I think
That was after mice also.
very, very small mice. This is, of course, is a fly swatter. A lady came in whose family runs Crystal Cave. She brought in some neat paper items from that, including an original program from the opening day, which is right here.
I didn't see those. Was that on this past Saturday?
I think, yes, it was this past Saturday. It was the first thing in the morning.
Oh.
They also had some pictures of the first couple that was married at Crystal Cave. Their pictures aren't too flattering, and I'm told the marriage didn't last a year, and there doesn't seem to be too much surprise from what people understand. This belongs to the Swope collection. I don't know how it got to order, but you can see the original name for the area up there, Cross
Keys.
Kill Mills.
Oh, yeah, Cross Kill Mills, correct.
It's an old shipping crate.
Spanath had the big mill there.
Oh, yes. The Stahl pottery. The other picture didn't come out too well, but this is a piece of Stahl pottery This is the bottom of it here. Beautiful colored glaze. I think it's about a dark green glaze, but it's marked for the owner it was made for. It didn't come out too well, but it's right here. But it says made for, and it's a little fuzzy there. I have a record of it.
That's a major rarity.
That's a pretty piece. Very nice.
There's the lid for that item.
Yeah,
Next couple items are probably my favorites so far. The Mellert Foundry in Reading. This is a trade bin sample brought in by the grandson of the person who won it in a marble game way back in the day. And this is probably my personal favorite here.
Oh, yes.
These are three original steam whistles from 3 different boats.
The Carey, the Rosa,
and the Mozart.
And the Mozart.
On the Schuylkill Navigation Company.
Those belong to C. Howard Heister.
This is a roll-up desk. I'm not sure if I have the roll-up photo, but this is a roll-up desk from an ancestor who served in the Civil War. Wonderful little dairy bottle, along with some family history of the
Guernsey raw milk.
Guernsey raw milk down in Birdsboro, the Gull of Dairy.
Oh, yes.
And we'll conclude here. So this is a final item brought in by one of our board members. It's an original 1963 lobby card of the Reading Symphony Orchestra featuring Gertrude Sternberg and the Reading Symphony Orchestra.
Sol Castan.
Where's the one on the Socialist Party?
Oh, well, we can get to those too.
oh, you're going to save them for later.
Well, we can do them. That's all right. We have a couple maps brought in by someone, beautifully done maps from the 1930s of Topolhawken Farms.
Yeah, that's nice.
The paper, this looks like silk, but it's unfortunately paper that's...
Parchment or paper?
It was paper that was rather heavily
varnished.
Shellacked.
This is a really beautiful one here. You can get a close-up of this logo here, right here. This was done in '36 of the lands of Henry Janssen, Esquire. This is a very rare Reading plate. This got a lot of rave reviews when it came in last Saturday afternoon. Penn Tower up in Reading. Again, the Neversink Mountain Hotel up on the top of the hill there, and the Tower and Hotel on Mount Penn. These are some items from a pharmacy collection down in Birdsboro. There's a lot more I have to go down and have a look at them. And here's
that's a dandy.
Here's the cream of the pudding. You'll have to excuse the glare on the windows there, and you'll have to excuse Mr. Miller hiding in the background there. These are 2 posters from the Socialist Party. George could tell you a bit about...
In the 1930s into the 1940s, the Socialists under J. Henry Stump had 3 terms in office. They had a term in the 30s, then they had somebody else came in, then they had another term, then somebody else came in, and they had another term. They actually would have won a 4th time, but they formed a fusion party of the Democrats and the Republicans together, and it was only by forming a fusion party that they ever got the Socialists out, because J. Henry Stump was very much admired by people.
Good luck seeing a fusion party in these
Wasn't
days.
Reading one of the largest socialist centers?
Yeah, absolutely. Reading and Muhlenberg Township, absolutely every office in the township, school board, the dog catcher, you name it, was of the Socialist Party. They were very strong in Reading and Muhlenberg Township.
But we, as George says, we have another Discovery Day coming up on Saturday, December 19th.
Saturday, December the 19th.
Yes, Saturday,
okay.
December 19th, from 9 to noon, 1 to 4. We're not accepting items at this time, just reviewing, see what people have so we can meet after the holidays and figure out how to lay the exhibit out. But while it is open to members only, we remind you that for a very small price, you're welcome to join the Historical Society and participate in the exhibit. And as you can see, the benefits of membership are almost endless.
By the way, we didn't mention that something really unique is coming in. The Fairchild's little...
the car.
Yeah, the
Yes.
little cart made at 23rd and Perkiomen Avenue. There's a story in one of the passing scene books, and it was also in the Reading Eagle years back of the 2 Fairchild brothers from East Reading who could not walk. They had a rare bone disease. They could break a bone very, very easily. So they had these little carts made for them, and they went around selling things in East Reading, and they actually got as far in town as like on Penn Street. And whenever they would come to a hill, kids would usually push them up the hill because they couldn't begin to turn that little crank that moved. It operated with like a bicycle chain, so it took some turning. And when they came to a hill, kids usually pushed them up. But that's a rare piece of apparatus. It's about the size, I'm going to guess, like 5 feet long and maybe 3 feet, 2.5, 3 feet wide, with like bicycle tires. That is a major rarity. There were 2 of them, and I think that the fellow who has that acquired both of them, and I think both were sort of worn a bit, and by putting the parts from the 2 together, he has one that actually is in good functioning condition and really well worth seeing. That's going to be a major item of interest in that exhibit.
We don't have a photo of it now, but if you check your passing scene index and the volume 17, the entries are already up there on the online database. If you go to our website, then click on library, then you can click on the passing scene total index. It's a keyword search. You just enter any word you want on there.
Fairchild will get it.
You can do the same thing with our historical review, and so those are the photos for now.
Well, you know, like I said, Josh mentioned, this is members' treasures, and you know, as the name indicates, it is for members. But people have already asked me. They said, you know, Simon, you know, I'm not a member of the Historical Society, but I have an artifact that I think would be good for inclusion in that. And the answer is simple: join. For as little as $40 for a year's individual membership, you can not only have your artifact or your treasure in the exhibit, but you also get 4 issues of the passing scene, which is worth twice of that $40.
Historical review.
I'm sorry, the Historical Review of Berks County. The Historical Review of Berks County, 4 issues of that. You get the members update, which tells you about all the upcoming events, such as the passing scene autograph parties, upcoming exhibits, first Saturday programs, different lecture programs that we have going on. In addition, you get notifications via postcard on special events for members, and it really is just a great deal. And for as low as $50, if you want to join as a family membership, for $50 you get all the benefits that I mentioned before, in addition to every member of the household that lives under one roof has free access to the Historical Society of Berks County Museum, as well as the Henry Johnson Library.
Actually, that'd make a nice Christmas gift for somebody.
And it makes a great Christmas gift. And we've got, as a matter of fact, as far as the Christmas gift is concerned, we have special packages put together now that not only include the membership, but they include a number of other spiffs that are quite engaging and I think you'd like having. So I encourage all of you to join. Now, you might ask the question, well, I've got, you know, this piece that I'm thinking about putting in the exhibit means a lot to me, and it's very valuable, and all I can say to that is that we're very used to taking care of artifacts, highly prized artifacts, expensive artifacts. They are fully insured, and they're also locked in some very secure cases. So don't let that be a worry. If you have something that you'd like to include in the members' treasures exhibit, we'd love to have them.
I believe, isn't there something coming up, Simon, for the annual Center Park and also our Handel House Bazaar?
There sure is. This is on Sunday, December 13th, 2009. We are going to be holding the 4th annual Handel Holiday Boutique. And the Handel Holiday Boutique is an event that's put on in conjunction with the Center Park Historic District and their annual holiday tour. And as a matter of fact, this year it's the 25th anniversary of Center Park's holiday tour. And again, it's December 13th, Sunday, from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And it's going to be held, the Handel Holiday Boutique will be held at the Historical Society of Berks County's historic Handel House, located at 746 Center Avenue. Now, that's directly across the street from Center Park.
And that's where I believe they get the tickets, don't they?
You can also get the tickets there. Admission to the Handel Holiday Boutique is free of charge, so there's no charge to get in there. But if you'd like to take the rest of the Center Park tour and see 10 to 12 of the best properties in Berks County and Reading, then you need to buy a ticket, but the tickets are very reasonably priced. They're $12. And it's really worthwhile. The Handel Holiday Boutique features about a dozen of some of Berks County's finest craftsmen, and they'll be there with their wares that you can do some early holiday gift shopping at the Handel Holiday Boutique. You're going to have unique items to Berks County, such as Berks County clear toy candy. You'll also have hand-made holiday ornaments, beaded art jewelry, hand-painted watercolors, as well as gift and greeting cards. You'll have pottery from some of Berks County's finest potters, as well as hand-painted porcelain and just, you know, many more holiday gift-giving gifts. So, in addition to all this, you get to see one of the beautiful historic mansions in Reading, and also before leaving the tour, make sure you stop at the Historical Society's main location at 940 Center Avenue, where you can have some complimentary refreshments brought to you by the Center Park Historic District Board of Trustees. You'll get to see the museum, and also we'll have the Henry Janssen Library open, so you can take a tour of that as well. But that's a great time. It's the 4th anniversary for the Handel Holiday Boutique, and we thank the Friends of the Handel for working so hard in putting that on, as well as the 25th anniversary of the Center Park Tour.
I was at Handel House today, and I saw the decorations. The place is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
They've done a super job.
It always is.
With decorating. I think they'll really be impressed when they see that. We thank you, Simon.
You bet.
Josh, was there anything else that you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was a little afraid of bringing some objects with me because of the damp weather outside, so I thought I'd bring a couple images to spur everybody into that gift shopping season of our newly renovated museum store. If we can have a look at the laptop here. There we go. This is a fresh sign we've just had put up this afternoon above the door of the gift shop. But our gift shop committee, our museum store committee, I should say, at the Historical Society has been doing a wonderful job in getting things ready for the holiday season for the upcoming passing scene signings, because it's one of our busiest times when everybody comes in to pick up the passing scene and mosey around the museum store. So we've been earnestly getting ready for that. Just a quick couple overall views before Simon helps me out with some of the newer items here. We've got very lucky in the help from our consigners and from our new stock supplies, getting the store all set for the holiday season.
Those are beautiful, those teak boxes.
Yeah, these are a couple of these are a few quilt boxes that just came in. It's actually a very, very beautiful wood veneer on the top there. This is very, very thin wood here.
That's real pretty.
Some oldie forest pottery, along with some bon ami to go along with our Ben Austrian theme for the evening, which seems to be coming back to get us this evening. Some wonderful glassware by Stephen Rich Nelson. Yep. What do we have here, Simon?
Those are the wood products by Terry and Linda Boyer, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're hand done, and they really are just as sweet as can be. They're very quaint.
This is probably something I probably wouldn't buy for myself, but it's amazing of what they can do with it. George, any idea what that is?
Is it like a necklace or something?
It's wheat.
Yeah, wheat.
Oh, is it wheat? Oh, okay.
So and yeah, wheat weaving by what? By Linda Beeler?
Yeah.
Beeler?
I think it's Beeler.
Linda Beeler, yeah, and we have a number of them. They're really pretty.
We have some handmade penny rugs used to lay on tables and dressers, along with some examples of treenware. You can see the woodenware here.
Yeah, that's pretty, and the glassware too.
Of course, we have a bunch of new pottery in from Lester Breiniger, also Brian Kunkelman, who have their sales coming up in this next couple of weekends here.
Do you have a photo of the tollware that we have?
Yes, right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is beautiful.
This is a husband and wife team. They also do some very nice icicles, which predated, they do tin. They do very, very narrow strips of tin, then they coil it up, and they put a crook in it like a candy cane, and I'm told that's the forerunners of icicles, the plasticky material that we use today.
The other nice thing about that tollware is that they're also, and a number of the products that they have in the store now, they also have companion pieces, books that explain tollware and go into it in pretty good detail, so it makes a nice supplementary gift to study from when you make additional purchases.
Certainly.
Is that the spiker?
Yeah, this is the spiker pottery, which is handmade decorated stoneware and glassware. Stoneware and redware. Being a non-native at Berks, took me a little while to get used to the difference between stoneware and redware. This is a traditional folk art carver by the name of Daniel Strausser, very well known for his bird tree, his roosters, and also looks like a boar and
yeah, it's a pig.
Yeah, to go along with it. These are some pressed flower designs by Gene Burkhart. We also have a, I always botch this bird, and don't ask me how to spell it.
Sharon Schnitter.
Sharon Schnitter.
Thank you.
One of my great aunts in upstate New York used to do this. We have some black and white Sharon Schnitter and also some colored Sharon Schnitter, as you can see. And we also have a new selection of toys and posters, and so, like I said before, you'll be hard-pressed to walk out with something without something new in your hand.
Yeah, a lot of new toys, too.
Yeah.
Puzzles and things like that. Yeah, really.
We just wanted, sorry.
No, that's okay. It's but they have a lot of things for the kids in there as well, and educational toys, too.
And we just wanted to thank all the local artists, all the craftspeople that have helped, and all the consigners that helped make the store ready for the holiday season. And if I can make the computer do what I want it to, I think, George, we have...
Okay, while he's doing that, let me remind you that this coming Saturday and Sunday will be the autographing sessions for the new Passing Scene book.
And this Saturday is our first Saturday program.
Yes.
And our guest of honor is Mr. Miser.
Yes, I plan to be there.
10 o'clock, 10 o'clock with the usual continental breakfast. Let's see here. Where did we leave off, George? Temple Furnace. There we go.
Yeah, Temple Furnace.
Technology is your friend. There we go.
Yes. That required a great deal of restoration work. That was quite a picture. The Temple Furnace. If you go out Kutztown Road and at the Temple Hotel, which is on one corner, and the old Adams store on the other corner, if you turn right there and head I guess sort of eastward, it would take you back. You would come out at that road. Now, there was a culvert there which has been taken away, and that was the Temple Furnace. Some of us might remember the two depots which survived until fairly recent years. One was the freight depot and the passenger depot on the left-hand side. That's the Temple Furnace in the background. You go there today, and it's surprising how little of that survives. There's a dirt road that leads up off to the left. It heads northward from this Mount Laurel Road, and it takes you back to someone is dwelling back there in like a brick structure that was part of the Temple Furnace, and that's really all that that remains of that complex.
I can't picture where that was.
Let me see. You know where the Temple Hotel is? I think
Nope.
it's now a Mexican restaurant.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
If you turn right there, you're heading up towards Kutztown. You turn right at the Temple Hotel, and on this side is Adams store. I believe there's a flower shop in there today, or a florist of some sort.
I think.
If you turn right there, it takes you to. Actually, you know, there were two furnace complexes back in there. You had the Mount Laurel, and you had the Temple Furnace, both under the same ownership for one period. There's nothing left of this except one brick building that I didn't realize was even part of that complex until I drove back on like a little private dirt road, and I came to that building. But that's only a block off the Kutztown Road.
I'll have to go up there sometimes. I can't picture this.
There was a
in my
culvert
head.
that was taken
Yeah, I know where it
away
is exactly.
because you would come out and the culvert is underneath there. You went under,
Yep.
under the tracks. So those tracks aren't there anymore.
It was the old hill line.
That's the old hill line, right? It came out by the Blandon.
Yeah, it went out the Reading Yards past Sweet Streets,
Right.
and on up to Blandon.
And that culvert's gone. The next picture, please. Oh, this I think is a neat picture. This was fascinating to me. The picture, the picture was labeled. There were actually two photographs. One with a whole bunch of guys and a dog sitting on top of the thing. That was a modified Model T Ford. Now, those of you who have ever ridden in a
Really
Model
modified.
T know that that was called a Speedster, and that was made from like a kit. They put a new body on a Model T Ford. Now, Model T Fords were good on the road for about 37 to 40 to, if you had a good one, 45 miles an hour. You didn't go much above that with a Model T because you couldn't. That was a Speedster. There's a big club of Speedsters out in the West Coast, which I discovered on the internet, which surprised me. The Model T Ford went out of production in 1927 when the Model A was introduced at the end of 1927. And this was labeled at Rosedale. So that was taken somewhere around the Rosedale area, which most of us would know today as Laureldale. There were two pictures. The one was labeled, "When we go like blank, 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 blank." And the other picture was labeled, "We're off." Neat picture of Muhlenberg Township. The next, please. Looks like we're at the West Reading, the West Reading Drugstore. Yeah, the West Reading Drugstore. Neat picture of that. Now, the West Reading Drugstore, of course, is still in business. Now, there's a really early picture on the page preceding. This one was a later picture that was made available to us by Fay Yoder, who's a Historical Society member living in Tilden Township. This picture was taken about 1942, and standing behind the counter, standing behind the counter is the pharmacist proprietor Warren Pete Peters, and beside him is his clerk, who was Harry Reich. He was an employee there at the West Reading Drugstore from 1941 to 1944. And then it was sold to Paul Griffith, and the thing is still in operation today.
Peter's Hot Chocolate, I guess that was before my time.
The Rexall drugstores specialized in that particular brand of chocolate. That was any Rexall drugstore carried that. At one time, that was a big sort of thing. Do we have time for one more? Okay, one more picture fast. Weber's Hotel. Weber's Hotel is what you see in the lower portion, and that opened up in the 1930s. Prohibition was over in 1933, and I think they opened about 1931. Oh, by the way, let's hit that.
Yeah, before we leave you tonight, I'd just like to remind the audience that the Berks County Long Rifles and Gun Makers 1750 to 1900, that's our latest exhibit in the newly renovated Palmer Gallery, due to popular demand, has been extended from, it was scheduled to close December 31st. It is now closing February 27th. It's been incredible. We've had people that have flown from all over the country to attend this, this exhibit. It's the most comprehensive collection of Berks County rifles that has ever been assembled, and it's, like I said, it's just been very well received. So
there's somebody in that gallery all the time.
Somebody in all the time, and we also have the book there as a companion piece. Great Christmas gift.
It really is, and that is available at the Society right now in 2 versions. Well,
you did it again.
Yes, we did it again. Tell your friends about our program, which is on live the first Wednesday of each month at 7 o'clock. Thanks to the associates on the program today, to Joshua Blay and Sime Bertlet. I'm your host, George M. Miser IX, President of the Historical Society and a 50-year member of the Historical Society. We look forward to having you join us again on Wednesday, January the 6th, 2010. Look for us then. Thanks for watching.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.